Ipswich Town are doing something very right and something very wrong. Brilliant at home, absolutely nowhere away. Is that just football, or are the warning signs there that no one wants to admit? We're split, some of you are split, but wherever you are, pull up a chair, grab a drink. It's Talking Town, and we're going to talk it through live right now. Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to Talking Town. I'm your host, The Cuff, joined by Matt and joined by you wonderful, wonderful people at home. So wherever your opinion, whichever side of the split, if you want to say it's a split, you may be, let us know your opinions in our live chat. Watch on catch up, let us know in our comments. I'll try and come back to as many as I possibly can. I'm not always as good as I should be on those. I do apologize. We've got our voice messages coming. I say voice messages, voice message. Only one this week. Very quiet fan base. So I'm going to play that to start the show, and then we can sort of react off that. Because I absolutely love hearing you on our voice message service. So if you want to leave a voice message at any point, please do so. Speakpipe.com/Talking Town. Our friend Tommy K is back in the chat. Welcome back, Tommy. We've missed you. Where have you been? Matt, Tommy K's back. Celebration time.
Oh, of course, yeah. As soon as we lose a game, all these people suddenly come out, don't they?
I love Tommy. He's our resident Nottingham Forest fan. What do you make of your manager then, Tommy? Do let us know in the chat. Mike Baker says yesterday's result just emphasises how much we need a striker. We had two golden opportunities in the first 15 and squared both. Had we taken those, it'd have been a different outcome. Goals win games. John Sharp. If we lose that away game to Portsmouth on Feb the 3rd, we're handed Middlesbrough second place. Yesterday was a repeat of the Leicester match. The team McKenna put out yesterday just was not good enough. Rob Smith, for all our wealth, we are still not a very good team. Good on paper, but not so on the grass. Ted Hurst made 5 simple passes in the first 5 minutes. He was 6 yards behind the play when a cross came in from the left. He caused no problems or threats for Sheffield United. He is a sub at best. And I'm sure we're going to get into that when we do our likes and dislikes. We've obviously got our flashpoints with Match Bingo, who we're partnered with, and Stowmarket Osteopaths, more on both of those throughout the course of the show. And if you're listening on audio platforms, give us a 5-star review. Go on, you know you want to. Hit those 5 stars and leave the best review you've ever left. Well, much better than the Town away performance anyway. All right, let's crack on with the voice message. And then, Matt, I want you to come back on the voice message and just give us your thoughts, your opening for 60, but in reaction to the voice message. Here we go.
Personally, I think a result like this was going to come. You can't always be the A game every single game. I agree with Steve. Yeah, it was a bad day at the office, but you're going to have them games. Some players played okay, some players did not. But I wouldn't judge losing today to any way distracted what we're going to do. You know, I still think top 2 is definitely for us. And come on, you Blues.
One of those days, and don't let it distract us from what we're going to do, which is the top 2. Matt, react to our lovely voice message, please.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, I do feel like the Ipswich Town the Ipswich Town fan base is what I'm trying to say, is either up here or down at the bottom. And with the run of home games that we've had since Leicester away, when we were last beaten before yesterday, I mean, look, we've been really good, haven't we? I mean, we had a bit of a funny spell, didn't we, at Millwall on Boxing Day, where we felt that wasn't very good. Then we go to Coventry and play really, really well. And do the double over the league leaders. And we've had the run of home games, 4 wins, if you include in Blackpool in the Cup. And then inevitably, the run has to come to an end, doesn't it? Because you've still got 20 plus games to go, whatever it is. Yeah. Maybe a little less than that now. What was it, 28 games yesterday? Is it 18? 18 to go, maybe. You're not going to win all those games. There are going to be defeats in there. It's just the manner of the Football League, isn't it? And it's a tough place to go, Bramall Lane. I know we turned them over 5-0, but historically, it's always been a tough place for Ipswich to go. They've always been feisty affairs. If you go back to 97, the Tarico game in the playoffs, when Howard Kendall, I think, was probably manager there, and then you think the Neil Warnock era there. We've always had physical games with Sheffield United. And, you know, hopes are high, aren't they, going into that? But I think there was a lot of people in our Discord, you're seeing it in the comments now, going, oh, well, you know, what do you call it, Martin? The trap game probably wasn't that, was it? But aside, that could easily have been in the Premier League last season if they hadn't shot themselves in the foot. Misfiring in the Football League this season. We go there. We've beaten them 5-0, as I said earlier. And they were just their desire and hunger probably overwhelmed us a little bit.
Oh, it certainly did. Yeah, they came in with a game plan. Very simply, they came in with a game plan to make it a battle, make it a fight. And what do we always say? everyone's got a plan. And well, Mike Tyson said it famously. Everyone's got a plan till they get hit in the mouth, and then the plan goes out the window, or however that famous quote ends. And it felt like that. They came with the hunger, the fight, and the desire to make it a type of game. And they wanted to see if Town, with all their technical ability that people say that Town have got, wanted to meet them for effectively a scrap. You know, and that's no disrespect to Sheffield United. It's a good game plan. It's an effective one. They won 3-1. They had moments of quality as well because they've got good players, as you said. But look, 7 wins on the bounce is it at Portman Road, right? Fantastic home form. But if you're a Formula One car, Matt, the only thing dragging you back is going to be the away form, and that has to change. Luke here says away form is shocking this year, and could be make or break, and it really could. I was looking at the February fixture list before we came live because I knew it would come up. Because there's majority of away games, but if you have trap games, you also have get better games, and it could be a get better month for away games. I mean, you've got Wrexham, right, who are knocking on the door of the playoffs. The fairy tale with the millions continues to amaze and astound, with the millions. But we'll call it a fairy tale. Portsmouth, Derby. Are the other 2 fixtures, and obviously Watford ends the month. Portsmouth and Derby, you've got to focus on getting the first 2 wins off the board away from home, and then see where you're at from there. And look, away form is poor. We can't. No one can argue that. And the fight and the hunger yesterday wasn't what the home team rather wanted to bring to the party. We didn't match it. We didn't rise to the occasion, Matt.
No, we didn't. I mean, you talk about games that come around the corner. I mean, you've got Preston next Saturday at back at Portman Road, where we're a much different side, a much better side. And of course, they get drummed 4-0 by Barry yesterday. So, and I think they'd lost 3-0 maybe the game before that. Comments might tell me if I'm right or wrong there. I think I'm right in saying that.
It's the championship, Matt. Everyone gets beat one week and then wins the next, and the fan bases all go up and down. We're going to win the league one week, you know, and that's just football fans in general. You get too high, you get too low, and you always try and tell yourself, don't get too high, don't get too low. But unless you're on the roller coaster, what's the point of being a fan? Exactly, is what I say, right? Yeah,
we have got too high because we've had this run of home games with Pompey being the postponement, and you know we've looked really, really good at Portman Road, but there's no getting away from the fact the away form, as everyone is saying in the comments, and we're agreeing, isn't very good. I'm looking at the away form table now. We're down in 13th. Borough are top, Hull are second, Derby sandwiched into 3rd, Coventry in 4th. So three sides that we're buzzing around right at the very top of the table, head and shoulders above us in the away form, and we're down in 13th. And we've struggled from day dot, haven't we, in this campaign at Birmingham? Very lucky to get a draw in the end, weren't we, with the debatable penalty? But we've won 4, drawn 4, lost 5, scored 19, 16 points, and we're sandwiched between Leicester, who've just lost their manager, sacked Cifuentes, he's gone, and QPR. I mean, look what we did to QPR at Loftus Road. We're below them. So that needs addressing. I don't think it's going to be addressed, quite frankly. I mean, look, we've still got, so that's 13 games we've had away. So that's what, 10. We've actually got more away games, Martin, and we've got home games, I believe. So I don't see Town addressing that really, because you've got this deep into the season now. You're sort of speeding towards the end of the campaign, aren't you, in a way? So our home form is, we've got to keep winning those home games and see what we can do. I mean, we've got to. I can't go any worse than this. Do you know what I mean? I mean that's bad from Ipswich, really, when you consider how good we were in the promotion season 2 seasons ago. I don't feel like Ipswich can get any worse than that. So there is momentum to build. There's a foundation to build there. But February's coming, as you rightly say. The 5 away games, including the cup game at Wrexham. I agree with everyone. That could really make and break us. And if we go in with these performances we saw yesterday, they won't all be as physical like they were against Sheffield United yesterday. But we've now seen the kind of blueprints to beat Town, haven't we? Charlton showed it to you at Portman Road, where we didn't take our chances. It stung us on the counter attack.
Different side back then, though, to be fair to us, particularly at home. You know, we have turned that corner.
The low block, wasn't it?
It was.
The low block people like to call it. Defending deep, counter-attacked us, beat us. And we have kind of negated that since, haven't we? We've not seen that kind of performance since. And then away, we do struggle against sides that get in your face. And be it Sheffield United, who, like I say, could have been in the Premier League this season, had themselves to blame, or even Oxford. We lost to Oxford really because they got into our face a little bit, didn't they? They had the hunger and desire to try and get out of relegation zone or keep out the bottom three or whatever it was. And and again, what was the winning goal in that? It was a ball over the top, wasn't it? Like we saw the Bamford goal yesterday. So yeah, it's a conundrum for McKenna. Absolutely.
But it also goes a little bit deeper than that, because obviously I was on Twitter earlier, and a tweet from Statman, Renegade Statman, came across my timeline. Obviously a big Denver Broncos fan. I'm sure he'll be, not sure if he'll be excited or nervous this evening with Jarrett Stidham starting at quarterback, but either way, all the best to you, Statman. It was about Town going behind. Ipswich Town have not won a game when the opposition scores since March 2024. Played 35, 1-0, drawn 9, lost 26, right? And we all knew it was bad. We've spoken about, that's nothing new. We've spoken about that on this show previously, about how we're not good when we go behind. But somebody asked him, can you remove the Premier League games for a different perspective? And I thought, excellent. And he replied, played 13, 1-0, drawn 6, lost 7. So without the Premier League campaign, played 13 in which you've gone behind. You've won none, Matt. You've drawn 6 and lost 7. That's got to change. That resolve, that mentality, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
If you're going to do anything, top 2 or playoffs, you have to A, turn the away from around, yes, but B, you can't continue being winless when you go behind, because you're going to go behind in some games. It's just inevitable. You're not going to be leading all the time. That's not good enough, Matt. That's got to change.
I'm trying to think what that game would have been. Bristol City at Portman Road. We went 1 down, then 2-1 down, and Wes Burns come on. We won 3-2.
Yes,
we went 2-1 down. We went 2-1 down to Southampton with the Sarmiento.
We did,
didn't we? But yeah, we actually went 1 down.
It was Bristol City 3-2 in March of 2024, according to Renegade Statman, and he would know because he's the Stat King. Man. So
Stat King. Yeah, absolutely, he would know. It's a reliable source. Yeah, I mean that needs to be. I mean, that's gone under the radar, really, hasn't it? Where we sort of say, Kieran McKenna, he knows exactly what we need. He's not addressed that at all, has he? And that can be make or break for you. So certainly in the away games when we go. Well, I mean, look, yesterday was pretty much similar. And I know a few of the lads were saying this on Discord. I think was it Ben or Daniel maybe was saying like, I could see it being like a Leicester game, and he was bang on. He got 2 down, lose 3-1, and it was a very similar game to that. Really, it was a very similar. Other than they didn't score from the halfway line. But yeah, very similar. And when you think now that was maybe 5-6 weeks apart, December the 13th to yesterday, we don't seem to have learned the lessons from that. But
no, it's got to change. You've got, you can almost explain it away in the Premier League when you've not got good enough players against elite players. Okay, your players just aren't good enough. Yeah. As he tweeted there after being asked, remove the Premier League games. What have you got? It's still abysmal. Drawn 6, lost 7.
Yes.
Awful. And seeing it in black and white like that on paper, it really brings it home how bad we've been when you've gone a goal behind. Adrian says top point, Gov, nice stats. Not my stats, they are Renegade Statman's stats, but yeah, I thought they were excellent, so appreciate him tweeting those out. Craig said we've played more the top sides away than anyone else. Shabby says game away from home must be, he says poo, that's something only clubs can do. And he also puts Patriots 26, Broncos 17. I don't know about that, but that's a different show altogether. Maybe next year we'll get some NFL content on the platform. Luke, it's what will probably cost us promotion this year if we don't go up. And of course, you mentioned Discord. That was obviously that was lively yesterday during the course of the game. And today I've been doing some member first shows, been doing the tactics truck, and that in itself, Matt, got me. It sent me again because I obviously was watching back the game, drawing out what I want to talk about, and then calm down because I did that last night, early this morning. Yeah. And then I recorded it at lunchtime, and I was like watching these clips back, and I was thinking, what on earth are we doing? Because some of it was basic, some of it was simple. Like there's an instance of a throw-in, Matt, where it's the double save that Christian Morton ends up pulling off in the first half. That comes about through one side being alive to dead ball situations, wanting to be on the front foot, wanting to be lively. And us just being on our heels. And I thought it was a real symptom of how we performed yesterday. Just reactionary, not proactive, reactive.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I mean, McKenna said in his interview on BBC Suffolk when I was driving last night, I was listening to it back, and he was saying though, I mean, look, he never really criticises the players, does he? That's kind of his youth football thing
That's
coming through
managers
now.
in general, isn't it? I mean, there's a
Yeah.
famous clip, isn't there, of Pep Guardiola in the documentary saying, I will defend you out there to everybody, but in here
It's different. And
yeah.
certainly where he's come through academy football, youth football, McKenna as a coach, it's always about the group. And you see that in interviews all the time. Yeah, I would imagine it was very different in the dressing room. But yeah, I mean, he was saying how poor those first 2 goals were. They really were. They really were. Yeah. Shooting ourselves in. We talk about Sheffield United shooting themselves in the foot in promotion race last season.
Yeah.
We're actually doing it to ourselves in these games and away from home. Very frustrating for us.
It is. And don't forget, if you want to become a member, you can do so by going to Ko-Fi, scan the QR code above our lovely piece of merch there. But as a member, you get 20% off our merchandise on our Etsy store, Talking Town Threads. You get member first shows, member only shows, all these different things. For being a member, it's just a thank you, because we are fan powered here at Talking Town. As such, we've got Stephen Peck, who's kindly done a £1.49 super sticker. Stephen, we appreciate that generosity. Thank you ever so much for showing it and supporting us and believing us. And if you want to do what Stephen's done, do what Rob's done, being a YouTube member, then of course you can do so by hitting the join button on YouTube. If you can't, that's fine. There's a subscribe button. Hit that. That's free. And you'll get access to all town news, views, fan opinion, and more. Let's do the flashpoints with our association with Match Bingo. Don't forget, we have partnered with Match Bingo to give you a 100% deposit bonus when you use the word town, all in caps. Play Match Bingo, win cash prizes. Deposit minimum is £10. While bonus cash can't be withdrawn, the winnings, they absolutely can be. So play Match Bingo. Use the word town, all in caps, for a 100% deposit bonus. Over 18s only. Terms and conditions apply. Please gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information should you need to do so. How to play is in our description, or scan the QR code next to their logo. Right. You talk about all the things we're talking about so far, and you talk about shooting ourselves in the foot, and we did it again, right? First goal. You could jump back to any number of shows over the last 18 months, and you could find me about to talk about the exact same things I've talked about then as I am sitting here today. We cannot defend a transition from our own set piece. And McKenna speaks about afterwards, it's a poor goal to give away, etc., etc. Well, can we address it? Because I feel like we've been really poor on the transition from our own set piece attacking to being undone. We've seen goals, we've seen chances, and yesterday again, Matt, it's our set piece, and the transition costs us. They run away with it. They score. Same story, different day. It's got to change. It's not good enough.
There's nothing worse, I think, for coaches if you allow the opposition to score from your own corner or throw in or anything like that, where you actually have possession of the ball to begin with.
But it's a routine thing, Matt, at the moment. Or it feels like, to me anyway, it feels like, you could hang your hat on at least one every 3 games. It feels like. Yeah. No stat for that, but it feels like.
It comes down to the decision making, doesn't it? Because Egley puts the ball in, doesn't he? It gets sky high, then it comes down with snow on it onto the edge of the box. It's such a poor header from Taylor. I know you're a big fan of Taylor. It's such a poor header from Taylor. It goes straight to Callum O'Hare. He puts the ball into the midfield, doesn't he? And as you rightly say on the tactics truck, which the members can watch later or whatever, we're kind of reliant on now where the ball was going to bounce, doesn't it? And of course, it doesn't bounce for us. No. I think it was Hamer, wasn't it? Gustavo Hamer, I think, was probably their man of the match. Sends that ball into our own half. For O'Hare, who started the run in the first place with the Taylor block on the header, I mean, he's got so much. We were saying before we came on, didn't we? So much energy from that midfield. Hamer got 2 assists yesterday. You got Tom Davis, used to be at Everton. Sidney Peck, who's there. I think we used to be their captain, I think. A youngster. Just so much more energy than what maybe Matasiwa and Taylor show you away from home. Maybe I'm being harsh, I don't know. But certainly O'Hare's got more desire to get to that ball than any Town player. And he runs through and he gets the finish, and he gets a little nudge from Matasiwa into Bolton's boot, which I know Wilder didn't like. Ipswich rarely score goals like that. I mean, actually, if you look at all of the goals we've been scoring on from the left-hand side, they've been pretty much kind of worldies, haven't they? Be it Philogene, Clark from the edge of the box, whatever it might be. We've seen them in isolation at Portman Road. Tell me where we've scored a goal like that away from home. I'm thinking maybe a QPR or Swansea, just off the top of my head. But few and far between, really. And, we got outdone by desire yesterday, but the decision-making, poor. Poor from a side that's trying to get top 2, I think. So he's got to do better with that header.
Yeah, and I break it down in the tactics truck video that members will be seeing directly after this show. So do search for it on your YouTube or Ko-Fi page. But I break it down in more detail there. But it is about being more reactive or proactive than reactive, rather. With too many players that are just hoping that ball bounces the right side as opposed to getting themselves goal side. and then planning on, okay, the ball fell the other way, but we're back the right side. Because Matasiwa in the end has 2 runners and he can't go with both. And he tries to position himself centrally, and I'll break it down in more detail on there. It's just a really poor goal to concede from our own set piece, but the second one's not much better. And it crazed me on the tactics video. Honestly, I had to. There's an editing going on with the second goal in this video, because I've had to take a deep breath once or twice, Matt, because Patrick Bamford, good player at this level, good striker, not a speed merchant, not known for his blistering speed, has 4 Town players, gets the shot away. Christian Walton palms it directly back into the danger zone, who I didn't think had a good game yesterday either. We'll get to him, I'm sure, on the likes and dislikes.
He did make some decent saves, to be fair, but you forget those and you think about these, don't you? Because they're game-changing moments. Yeah,
and then it falls to the right-hand side, and again, we've got 7 defenders versus 5 attackers in the end, and we still don't manage to really close the shot down that inevitably falls to the player who then scores. I think Kieran McKenzie post game, we've got to run back, and I think he's right. You've got to run back with a purpose, and I didn't see enough like will to get yourself where you need to get yourself and stop it. I just didn't see it. It was a poor goal.
Yeah, you say in the tactics video, don't you? But we're actually well covered. He's got the ball on the left-hand side. He's running towards O'Shea. Mattasey was, as you rightly say in the vid, he's pointing towards, he's going to probably go to the left-hand side of the box. As it is, he cuts in. But you still got Kit Pray and Mattasey were there. But, I mean, whether or not Christian could have done better, I don't know. I mean, you want to see him actually gather the ball there. But it's almost like it's on a string back to his boot, isn't it? I mean, it goes straight back into the centre of the penalty box. Then you got the second shot that goes through the space, which he saves with his legs this time, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So I wonder why he chose to do that. I mean, whether he slipped, I don't know. Why he just didn't put his body behind it, I don't know. So he actually saves it with the part of it from his ankles to his knees, basically, which then rebounds again back into the danger zone, as you rightly point out. Matt Seaver should be covering that. But he's behind O'Shea. It's not helping anybody, is it?
We're all over the shop. We're all over the shop.
And then it comes to that Brooks. He hits the shot. It then hits Matterson.
Honestly, if it wasn't your own team, it'd be almost funny because you've got blocks here, blocks there, and then a deflection into your own net. I mean, it's not funny because your own team.
With Walton pushing the ball back into the edge of the box each time, not one blue shirt ever gets in. Right, as you rightly say. Lots of blue shirts were there, 6, 7, 8 blue shirts. This is actually the Ipswich defending that we thought we were over when we were discussing the Bristol City game. No more sloppy goals, been much tighter. Although we didn't really mention this in that, did we? The Kipray pass in the Bristol City game, we got away with one there, and Walton did very well. So we must give him kudos for that. But this was the Ipswich we saw, I would say, from about August, September, October, round the Charlton way. You know, we were talking about Imran Loser, weren't we? The Watford player, when he scored, we were like, how did he score that at Pullman Road? Had 6, 7, 8 players, blue shirts around them. We had exactly the same yesterday, and not one got there. I mean, Kit Pray's been fantastic, hasn't he? But he just seems to be sort of jogging in the penalty box. He's not making the challenge, sort of coasting. I wouldn't say that near him. As I've said before, he'd probably use me as a toothpick. But, some of that physical presence and, how good he's been for us since he came in for Greaves, I would probably expect a little bit better. I mean, I thought O'Shea done all right he had the block on the line yesterday, didn't he? Look, we're talking about this, Martin, these 2 goals. Arguably, we could have been a goal up, couldn't we? If it hadn't been for Cooper and Egley was through right at the start, and he kind of hustled down, I would say, an aging Ben Mee, but he's only 36 compared to actually young. He's a spring chicken, I suppose. But maybe he should have done better there. But look, we've conceded at completely the wrong moments, haven't we? What was the first goal? 38, 39? Then you've conceded right on the break. At least go in at the break, not conceding, consolidate at 1-0, and then reset for the second half. But, I mean, it's criminal really to go 2 down when we did. 2 goals in 7 minutes.
Yeah, not managing the game again. We've spoken about that so many times over this season. We've got to manage, like Middlesbrough away, for example, didn't manage that 10 minutes either side of half-time well enough, found yourself 2 down. It's an uphill battle from there. You're right, though. But, you found a goalkeeper in good form yesterday in Cooper. Egley presses Ben Mee effectively, wins the ball, in part thanks to a poor back pass, of which obviously Jacob Greaves did one for us as well. But it felt like at times the grass hadn't been cut. The ball was holding up so much.
That was
Yeah,
poor.
both back passes were poor, and I can't fault Sindravali Egli for that moment. He's done all he can from that angle. It's a good save. He's hit it low across the goalkeeper. The other player is also a paid professional. He's there to do a job as well. Like, you sometimes have to just say, that is what it is.
He covered the goal well there, Cooper, didn't he? You're right. Done exactly what. I mean, he's a good goalkeeper. We liked him when he was at Plymouth, didn't we? And you know, if it hadn't been for injuries, he could have gone into the Premier League with somebody else potentially. But it's a good save. I mean, it was kind of predictable, wasn't it? That was the only chance Egli could have, was to go to the keepers, right? Really, wasn't it?
Yeah, because his first touch was poor. He hadn't set himself correctly with his first touch. If we go back and look at it, he just hadn't set himself.
Hurst was too behind the play, wasn't he? And wasn't fast enough over the first couple of yards in order to get himself level to give Egli a chance. He should have shot anyway. I was screaming for him to shoot anyway, but
if he doesn't shoot and he squares it and George Hurst puts it into the stand behind, all saying, why didn't he shoot? Yeah, absolutely.
We overthought. We saw that against Blackburn, didn't we? Where Hurst actually overthought it and put it into the middle, and the chance was gone, wasn't it? And we was all saying shoot that day. So I mean, we've got to say the same with Egli, I suppose. Yeah.
Obviously, the third goal is again not great defending. How did you see the third goal? Long ball from Cooper. O'Shea goes to meet it, knocks it down, falls to their player, who just puts it into the space vacated by O'Shea. And Bamford says, "Thank you very much. Game, set, match."
Well, O'Shea kind of like sort of stabbed it to Gustavo Hamer, didn't he? Sort of the outside of his left foot or something as he's progressed forward. Which thing is now O'Shea's out of position, isn't he? With Bamford behind him, Greaves playing him on or whatever, and it's just a little volley over the top, isn't it? I mean, that's food and drink to someone of Bamford's, you know, the kind of level of striker that Bamford was. I mean, it's sod's law, isn't it, that we got linked with him. Then he comes in and he scores. But I mean, 3-1 in the game.
The game's over. I was going to say, what did you make of my thoughts on the tactic where Greaves has kind of just got to just buy 2 or 3 yards there and drop?
Yeah, agreed that.
Once he sees his partner's gone for the ball, he's got to, because he's trying to play a line with Furlong, but Furlong's not. He's not watching Greaves. They're not communicating. It doesn't appear to be they're communicating to play a high line. So the moment Greaves tries to step, if he does try and step, what's the point? Because Furlong's not playing an offside trap. So for me, I was always told, when your centre-half partner goes up, you drop 2 or 3 yards. But for that very reason, Matt, if Greaves drops 2 or 3 yards, he can then cover that space that's vacated by O'Shea. As opposed to what actually happens is he's on his heels, level with Bamford, who's going the right direction. His momentum is taking him the right way. Greaves is coming that way. He's got to turn and go again. Yeah. Just drop Greaves 2-3 yards, buy yourself it, and you can mop that up. It's defending for me that you just got to think it's a bit. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the pattern of play was too quick, really, to try and play the offside, wasn't it? Like you say, as soon as O'Shea stabs that ball to Hamer, it's over the top, isn't it? Blink of an eye job, and Bamford goes in, like you say. Greaves wasn't there to be able to push him out, or Furlong to help push him out towards the corner flag, and he scores. And the game was gone then, because I did feel like when we got back into it, and it was against our old friend Mark McGuinness, it was a pen, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It was a definite pen, and Clark took it. I was confident Clark would score. He's good at pens. I mean, Roddy's like a little bit off the post, but I actually thought, because of our home form that we've seen recently, we would get back into the game at that point. Now, whether that's delusional or not, I don't know.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I thought once we got
back in it.
Yeah, once we got our foot back in the game, I agree with you. I thought this could be on at least 2-2 draw, but that sticks a pin in it. That's the game gone. The moment that third goal goes in, any hopes of a comeback, you know, it's the straw that breaks the camel's back.
6 minutes, wasn't it? I'm just looking here. Clark was just on the hour mark. I thought, right, great, got half hour here to do something, and then Bamford, obviously, 6 minutes later, kind of puts the game out of our reach. And he got sent off earlier. Yeah. When he dive earlier.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was weird, wasn't it, them yellows? He got a yellow for kicking the ad board, and then he's odd dive. What was he diving there for? Yeah. Weird.
It is incredibly strange. Luke says Gunn was a failure this year. The other two relegated teams in no man's land. With only one of the priority teams coming down, maybe it'll be harder next year. Connie says Armstrong's a quality championship striker. End of story. Rob Smith, who thinks Ashton has a rabbit up his sleeve and a marquee signing this week? Well,
that's a good point, isn't it? Yeah.
Is it a good point, though? Because
Well, it is a good point, because sometimes this is a blessing in disguise. It could be that now we've seen, because we said this, didn't we? Because everyone was sort of waxing lyrical about Ivan against Bristol City. He did play very well in that. But that was papering over the cracks of what we've seen as being a problem position in the squad this season. And I think I said, they've been below, all three of those strikers have been below average, haven't they?
Mhm.
You just have to look at who we're competing with in the top spots, Coventry and Borough. And, what have our strikers got between them, those three strikers between them? 10 goals maybe? Well, Thomas Asante's got that on his own.
Less than that, I think. I think less than that.
Is it less than that? Well, there you go. Thomas Asante actually didn't play against us, did he? In either of the games in December, because he was out injured. He's 10 goals already.
Yeah. I mean, if you said 10, you wouldn't be too far off. Because I remember when I did the Sargent comparison, and Sargent was like 2 or 3 goals under our combined strikers. It depends if they've scored since that moment in time, which I don't know, because I can't say when I did that. So it could be 10, around 10. But I say, is it a good point? Because, we'll go on to our likes and dislikes. One of the likes from yesterday was Wes Burns. I really enjoyed watching Wes Burns come on yesterday. A really good cameo.
Yeah.
But Matt, our best right winger.
You're going to say,
You know what? You know what I'm going to say, because I woke up this morning with a on it about it.
Yeah.
Our best right winger is the gentleman we got in our early part of the project building phase. Paul Cook brought him in, right?
Yeah.
For very little to no money at all, right?
Yeah.
He's on the way back from an ACL injury. We
From
spent
Fleetwood.
from Fleetwood, from wherever he is. At 6:30 this morning, I said Morecambe. I'm not going to lie, but I meant Fleetwood. But let's be serious. Wes Burns is arguably our best right winger, coming off a major injury in a position we spent over £30 million in. Ogbene, Egley, and McAteer. And the guy who started the position is still the best one there. Yeah. That's not good enough.
When you lay it out like that, it is ludicrous, isn't it? And he did have another good cameo from the bench. Wes there? Yeah, that is a concern, isn't it? That is a concern. Look, the fan base has had lots of criticism around McAteer this season, and Egley probably hasn't. But if McAteer had missed that chance yesterday, I'm sure the Twitter trolls, whatever they're called these days, would have been out in force, wouldn't they? And Egley's he's a prospect, really, that we've paid a lot of money for. Lots of potential there. Now, whether or not he's going to go on and be a really supernova style player, we don't know yet, do we? I mean, there's been lots of wonder kids in the past who just sort of disappear. I hope not. And I hope he does it with us. But, he's finding his feet in British football for the first time. And Wes has been there and done it, got the T-shirt for us, hasn't he? He's got 2 promotions under his belt. He's had to go to Fleetwood to rebuild his career. We see him play very good games against us and come in, and he's been fantastic for us, hasn't he? Part of the furniture.
Absolutely. It's a breath of fresh air to have him back. Somebody who wants to say, I am better than you. I'm going to beat you to the byline and put a ball in the box. Whether that ball in the box is always the quality it needs to be. Look, I've often said about Wes Burns, perhaps that final ball needs to be a little bit better, but it's such a breath of fresh air to have him back, and we've missed him. And I just feel in a position where you spent over 30 million, and I'm not getting at any one player. They are not the players that identified themselves and brought themselves to the football club. I'm just saying, if you went pound for pound, £30 million plus on that one position, and you're still back at square one, is not good enough. Whether you're flying in the table or bottom of the league, I would still say the exact same thing. And then you look at the 10 position, Matt. You spent 9 million on Schmodix. You've signed Nunez for 8 million. Obviously, he's now injured. You're still not much better in that position. It just, despite pouring resources into it.
Yeah. And the bulk of that spend, you're rightly saying, on the right side, has been why we've been a football league team as well. Because Benny was the Premier League signing, wasn't he, for that position?
I get pelters for signing Raheem Harper. I didn't even sign him. I still get criticised for saying he'd be winning Player of the Year, which I did, and I never hide from that. That was a good friendly, by the way. It was a great performance against the ball in that friendly. I will stand by that to the day I go. To the day I go.
He was.
There's no getting away. So when Rob says about has he got a rabbit up the hat, I hope he has. But what, another right winger for 15 million quid that's going to come in and not be as good as Wes Burns?
That brings us full circle. Maybe yesterday's result could be a blessing in disguise, and it will actually put the foot to the floor a little bit and actually try and get this number 9 through. It's not news to Ashton and McKenna and such, because we've been debating this since August. Well, since the lap left, as the guys are all rightly saying, since the lap left. We do need another number 9. There's got to be a reason why they haven't done that. Either we're being told prices, skyrocketing prices, which we won't pay, but then they'll come back to what you always say, Martin. What price can you put on being back in the Premier League again?
Well, they do that for you, don't they? What's it worth?
Yeah.
That one game at playoffs? It's what, 150 million quid?
There has to be reasons we sit here on 25th of January, so a week away from the.
You're close to squad registration levels, aren't you? You've got a fairly big squad, and it isn't all doom and gloom. Let's not pretend. We are saying.
Oh, it's just because yesterday was such a disappointing result in comparison to what we've seen at home. But
and you've given Middlesbrough the upper hand, haven't you?
Yeah, you have at the moment. But look, Middlesbrough are going to lose games between now and the end of the season as well. We just have to keep being consistent in our other games. But
your home form has to stay strong.
Yeah, that really does. I mean, if our home form was to dip off and we put in another Charlton performance, for example, then we're going to have to settle for the playoffs, I think. And the fact that we're right on the horizon is these 5, including Wrexham in the Cup away games.
Yeah.
I mean, do you use Wrexham in the Cup as just like a dress rehearsal for the league game that follows less than 7 days later? I don't know, but there's got to be reasons why Ashton and McKenna have not been able to get the number 9 in. It's not through because they've been sitting around the table and thinking, shit, we've forgotten to get another number 9 in. There's got to be reasons for this. Maybe targets haven't been able to get over the line yet. Maybe the African Cup of Nations meant if you're getting someone from the Premier League in, you weren't really sure what was going to happen now. Could be a multitude of things. Skyrocketing prices, as we say earlier, is probably the most likely one. We don't want to get their pants down. But again...
What about this? And I don't like it, and you might not like it, but it may be what the football club think. I don't know. How about this? They feel they've got enough already. They feel that Akpom, Azon, and Hurst is enough right now to keep their powder dry, keep the money in the account earning interest, because that's where it's going to sit. Obviously, it's not going to be sat on the bedside table. If it is, let me know which bed it is. Let me know which bedside. And they feel actually we've got enough until May.
Yeah.
What about that?
I mean, look, we did debate this, didn't we, after Bristol City, that you with that squad, with those striking options, you are sitting in third with a game in hand, right? Obviously, the gap's a little bit more now, isn't it, after yesterday? But I would push back on that. Akpom's look nothing like the striker that scored 30+ goals for Borough 2 seasons ago. George Hurst, we're desperate for him to get back to the confidence we know he's got. And as you've rightly said, in the last couple of weeks, he looks like he hasn't got much confidence at all. I suppose constantly debating his performances on platforms like this doesn't help if he's checking in and watching it. And then who's the other one? Ivan. Well, he's finding his feet a little bit, but it's taken a while, hasn't it? Because he come in the summer window, and here we are in the end of January, and it's only now we're saying, oh, actually, he's just had his best game for us after X amount of months of the season, 4, 5, 6 months of the season. They know they need somebody else. They've just not been able to get who they want.
Do they, though? Or are they... Look, we don't know the ins and outs of the Akpom loan. People keep saying, oh, cancel the Akpom loan. You don't know if you can contractually do that.
No, we don't know.
And to my knowledge, no one's asked the football club in regards to, is there a break clause within the loan agreement? So I'm going to assume they can't. So with how deep you are in some positions, how many players you can register, blah, 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 blah. I'm preparing myself for no centre forward. I'll put it that way.
Right, okay. I was interested. That's very doom and gloom, Martin. But I mean, look, the clock is ticking. We're only a week away. But look, no one complained about the Akpom signing when he came in. You saw what he'd done, the highlight reel at Borough. We'd beaten Birmingham. We were desperate to sign him. We beat him to the signature. It was a really good signing at the time, but of course, it's the talk can be cheap, can't it? Looks good on paper. I mean, now he's scored 2 goals, and now he's out injured. So I mean, that tire has deflated slightly, isn't it? I mean, I do hope he returns and he can find some kind of form in the back end of the season, as we're seeing with Ivan a little bit. But then by the same token, why didn't they play Ivan yesterday? He's just had his best performance in the blue shirt. Iggy sits on the bench, and Hurst comes back in.
Well, that's
nobody liked Hurst's performance yesterday, did they? I mean, you were saying you always thought like he had Velcro sticky control. You call it. The ball was bloody ballooning off him, wasn't it? Yesterday. Yeah,
Velcro man, because everything used to stick to him. But now, yesterday was more like the Velcro you get on, like, 5-year-old shoes, as in like you've had them for 5 years, where the Velcro doesn't quite stick anymore. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
The ball hit him. And
glue.
do you remember that game as a kid you'd play with your mates? We'd hit the ball against the wall with one touch. It felt like that. You'd hit it into Hurst and it would bounce off him. And you mentioned earlier about we
Mm.
had a chance through Eglin. We did. We also had a chance through George Hurst. But it's a good save from Michael Cooper. But just before that, if he plays a better pass to Jack Clark's through.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah,
he
well,
overhits the pass
you're
to
totally
Jack
right.
Clark.
He does. The problem is, I think he has to, because Matasiwa plays the ball into him, doesn't he? Just ahead of the centre circle in the Blades half. I think he has too many touches, because as he's progressing with the ball, the gaps have actually fed that pass through, getting more narrower and narrower, which is why I think he ends up overhitting it, which means that Clark then has to come back in. I mean, if he'd laid it on as you're saying, Clark could probably have just opened up his body and tried to curl it right footed to the left of Cooper. As he was, Clark does very well to actually create the chance. I think he's probably our man of the match yesterday, Jack Clark, when we talk about likes and everything.
Yeah.
Because he's such a good player, isn't he? But certainly such a good player at this level. And he still manages to get the ball into the edge of the 6-yard box. And Hurst does well, actually, to get the shot away. But again, Cooper, fair play to him. Really good save. I mean, you have to give the opposition credit there. It's a really good reflex save. We've seen Walton do it this season. Cooper was doing it yesterday.
Yeah, but just before that, the Jacob Greaves back pass, which everyone obviously says is a terrible back pass, and it was. But that initially comes through. Dara O'Shea firing the ball into George Hurst. George Hurst then giving a 50-50 pass to Matasiwa, which he loses, and then they break on it. All George Hurst for me had to do in that situation was stick his backside into the centre half, receive the ball to his feet, and then look to bring his teammates in. Instead, he tries to make a quick pass. Matasiwa's going one way, the ball goes the other, 50-50 pass, he loses it. He just didn't hold the ball up effectively enough. And away from home, that's so vital, Matt. When you are under pressure and you're looking to get out and play, you have to have somebody hold the ball up. And I'm a big George Hurst fan. Barnsley away will live with me until the day I die. Great day I die. One of the best days of my life, the best moments of my life.
Yeah, brilliant, wasn't it?
But you can't. I can't feed off that forever. And I need to have some more hold-up play from him right now.
And that was a division below what we're talking about. Yeah, I do agree. And Alex Maffey obviously knows all about scoring goals. On the radio yesterday, said exactly the same kind of thing. It was disappointing. Spends a lot of his time injured, which is not his fault. But as we said right at the top of the season, you can't really always put all your eggs in the George Hurst basket, can you? Because you always think, disaster might be around the corner. We've already seen him miss some of the season, haven't we? And then you've got misfiring Akpom, Evan finding his feet, and none of them options suddenly look very appealing when you've got to go to Bramall Lane, as we discovered yesterday, which is why I hope it just kind of forces McKenna and Ashton's hand to maybe pay the extra money if they have got someone in mind, because the price of promotion is worth paying, I think.
Yeah. Shabby says 49 minutes is a long time to dwell on the poor show. Hope players not watching. Well, first and foremost, I hope they're not watching as well. If I was a player, the last thing I'd want to be doing is watching any podcast about a team I played in. I'd be wanting to get away from football and just park it over there in my downtime. But if you are watching, welcome one, welcome all. Hit the subscribe button. You want to. Look. We are talking about the game yesterday. So in my book, 43 minutes is not a long time whatsoever to be talking about the game that just happened and the away form as a whole. These things are going to affect the football club. And I am desperate to get back to the Premier League. Desperate, Matt.
Oh, why are you so desperate, though? It was bloody miserable. Kept losing.
It means I pressed the live button. It means I pressed the live button at least one less time a week.
Well, when you see performances like yesterday, against Sheffield United, for crying out loud, the team have already beaten 5-0, like I say, but they were misfiring at that point, weren't they, under Ruben Selles? I mean, what's George Hurst said, bread and butter. It'd be just bread and butter opposition to in the Premier League, wouldn't we, when we put in those kind of performances? But like I say, it's a 46 league game season. You're doing. I mean, I know Leeds, Burnley only lost like 2, 3, 4 games last season when they got promoted. So I mean, that's really impressive, I think. And we've rebuilt with a different squad, but you're doing very well not to be losing. To do a run of games and not losing. And we have done that, albeit we've been lucky with the home form. But look, Coventry have wobbled. I'm sure Borough are going to have a wobble as well. We've still got to play Borough right at the end of the season, haven't we? So let's not get too downbeat about results in isolation. It's only if you start following them up with another, if we're to lose to Preston at Bournemouth, that'd be a bloody disaster, that, wouldn't it?
But Matt, I ain't being funny. Without sounding like Ian Bill, I've got nothing left. Like my Bears are finished, right? So the Bears season is over, ended in disappointment. The Chicago Blackhawks ice hockey season is being condensed because of the Winter Olympics. So we're getting one of those every sort of 2 days. Playing again tonight, love it. But again, it's going to go very fast. Ipswich Town being successful is all I've got left this year until August. This is all I've got left. I don't want performances like yesterday after the back of my bed crashing out of the playoffs last week. I want wins, goals. And I know we've had that for the most part at home, and I'm not complaining. We have had it at home. But I just want success. I want that successful feeling.
Think back to the Coventry game. We went there and won 2-0. I mean, that they're kind of like chalk and cheese, aren't they, those performances? Coventry suited us much better because you go to, as Colin was saying there earlier, you go to Bramall Lane. It's a furnace, isn't it? I mean, they've always had a passionate fan base. It's what you expect when you go there. Like I say, we've had very feisty encounters against them over the last 30 plus years, regardless of who the manager was. Had really feisty performances there. But I mean, Coventry suited us more because they start off, don't they, Coventry? We live and die in these towns, the enemy track, and it's really passionate and they sing it brilliantly. But we coped with that much better because Coventry are tailor-made opposition for us. And they want to go toe-to-toe playing our style of game. And we could coast through that, really. But they had chances, didn't they? But you had people like, I mean, look, Greaves was so good on the left-hand side. Well, in that game, wasn't yesterday. Because the opposition played a different style against us. And we were hurried, we were hustled, we were bustled.
Yeah.
That's not our game. And, as we said right at the very top, you come and do the low block at Portman Road and counter-attackers. You've got an opportunity. You get in our face as Oxford, Sheffield United, Preston to some extent, right at the very top, Birmingham on the opening day of the season. We don't cope as well because our game is more technical. That's the issue, isn't it? My dislike yesterday was actually Greaves playing. I was because Davis sits on the bench, right? And then McKenna said, "Oh well, Ashley Young's got the hip injury, which sounds like he might not." I mean, it's just conjecture this, but it sounds like he might not play again this season if it's as serious as what they're making out, given his age, right? At 40, he was the knock, wasn't he? So he said we had to protect Davis. Well, you've protected him for 55 minutes because you brought him on, didn't you? I mean, you might as well started him, to be honest with you. I didn't really get that logic. I mean, you're protecting him by sitting him down and playing him against Preston, where you're maybe not guaranteed 3 points, but our home form is such that you'd expect to go there and turn them over. So then he throws him in at the deep end. I thought that was really odd. Anyone agree with me? Yeah. I thought that was weird to say that. We're trying to protect the league to an extent. And then you bring him on after 55 minutes. Might as well started him.
Yeah, so obviously on Thursday in the press conference, McKenna did say there was one player that was unnamed that was going to be assessed within 24 hours, might not make it. Now, you can either, and I don't know what he said post-game in regards to Davis because I only saw parts of the post-game interview. You could say, hey, that was obviously Davis and that's why Greaves started. Or you could say, surely that would be Ashley Young. That is the one player that's now injured and will be assessed in a 24-hour period. Like, because as for me, and this has always been the case, not just in this situation here, if you're fit enough for the bench, you're fit enough.
You always say that, don't
you? Because if Greaves had gone out there and pulled his hamstring in the first 5 minutes, what would have happened?
Yeah, Davis would have come on, wouldn't he? So I just thought that was a weird thing that Kieran said. I don't understand the logic. To protect him is not to play him at all. I will leave him come back into the side on Saturday against Preston.
Leighton says Davis needed a rest. Well, he's got a week coming up.
We didn't get an hour's rest, did he? He was come on after 55 minutes. It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense comment. I'm sorry, Kieran. I find that crazy. And actually, Leaf was very good when he came on, I thought. I mean, it needs must at this point, right? He was getting forward and doing all the things that Leif Davis does for us that Greaves can do when the opposition is more suited to that kind of, like Coventry will give you space on the ball and then they'll try and counter-attack you with their own passing style. Whereupon, as we said earlier, you like to Callum O'Hare, Peck, Davis are just going to hustle and bustle you.
Do you think, because you say that's nonsense, do you think that's more something that's sort of decided through sports science or physio these days, where the players' levels are a certain, and then perhaps it's indicating he needs a rest, as opposed to a more of an old, fashioned managerial decision? Because sports science now is all over football, etc., and they're all hooked up and whatnot, and all their levels and right down to sleep and all sorts.
Yeah.
Do you think that's more of a decision driven by data than it is by anything else?
I think it must be 100% driven by data. Yeah. I mean, maybe the information that we obviously don't see, hence we end up having these debates, is he's kind of in the red zone, and could he pull a hamstring, do a calf, whatever it might be.
You could do that. As Ian Marshall would say, you could do that. Going shopping.
Exactly that. Rio Ferdinand with his feet up watching telly, done his knee. yeah, exactly that. I mean, look, as somebody got Leighton's is saying there, you could have played Kipray, Greaves, Johnson. I mean, there's other than Young being out injured, there was other options there. Ben Johnson being another one. But I don't know. I just found that a very weird comment to say that and then bring him on after 55 minutes. That's not resting anybody, is it? Really?
Funny though, isn't it? Because we've sat here for a couple of weeks and we've heard Greaves should play over Davis. Davis offers nothing to the football team. Why isn't Greaves starting? Ever since Coventry away.
Yeah, exactly that. But the Coventry away game, we did say this, did
one
suit
performance,
more languid style.
Yeah, but then when he does play him and he doesn't go as well as you'd hoped, it's why wasn't Davis playing? Well, you can't have it both ways.
No, exactly that.
If you wanted Davis dropped, then you didn't get your wish because he wasn't dropped, but he wasn't playing. So you got your wish and it didn't quite pan out, right? You can't be right all the time. You can't want a player not playing, and when it doesn't go the way you thought it would go, say, oh, why didn't he play him? He didn't. He should have done in my book. I agree with you. And I think as a manager, it's a really hard place to be if the stats are telling you one thing, but he's your best player. I don't know.
He'd have been better off just saying. I mean, it would have been. I didn't hear the whole thing, but he'd have been better off just saying. Dave, in terms of like with Davis. Going back to my original point, as Leighton said, maybe just playing Johnson and saying Leaf has played so much football this season, we decided to rest him for this one. But then you could argue that where do you need someone like Leif Davis? At Bramall Lane, in the hotbed, in the furnace, to try and get you those 3 points. So there would have been criticism there. But I don't know.
A week off now. I mean, send him home for a week.
A midweek game.
Feet up, not too high like Rio Ferdinand, but just feet up. Sky TV on. Have a drink. Don't do any.
I mean, other players don't get rested, do they? I mean, O'Shea doesn't get rested. Matasiwa doesn't get rested. Up until now, Davis hasn't been rested. These players don't get rested, do they? I mean, I just find it's weird.
I'd prefer. I don't know what he said. I didn't hear him. I'm just going off what you've said and what Leighton said. But I'd preferred him to say it was tactical. I thought it would give us a better chance to win. And I stick by that. I mean, at the very least, you could then say, okay, fair enough. He saw something that perhaps they then didn't do, or it didn't quite plan out the way you wanted it. That's how I just, as a fan, I would have preferred that as a reply, as opposed to, I arrested him. Because ain't the FA Cup third round. Like, points are at stake here, and points mean prizes.
I think it's pretty much nailed on. Leaf won't play against Wrexham in the first game.
But tell you what, if he does, I'm going to bookmark it. If he does, I'll be,
It's just to see the fullbacks are there. I mean, Ashley Young would have been nailed on, wouldn't he, for one of those starting berths? But whether or not we see him again, I don't know. That sounds quite they don't really go into great detail, but reading between the lines, that did sound like as we head into February, you might not see too much of him between now and the end of the season. That's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, as we turn the corner and round up the show, don't forget we are partnered with Match Bing. Done that one. Don't forget we are partnered with Stowmarket Osteopaths, quality care in Stowmarket since 1985. 01449 613 633. That's 01449 613 633. You mentioned we don't always know a lot of information. Obviously, Friday we had a transfer show. Mehmeti, who I thought showed flashes when he came on. Really difficult for him. Obviously, just arrived on a Friday. But we did speak about. I'm going to mention another transfer room very shortly. But we did speak about, didn't we, about how could this arrival, how you signal something, and obviously Nunez is going to miss several weeks.
Huge blow that. See, before that game yesterday, I was looking at Nunez, just going through some of the apps, and they had Nunez out for about 4 or 5 weeks on like SofaScore, for example, whichever one has. I thought, where they got that information from? And then lo and behold, we suddenly discover that he's going to be out for you. That is a huge blow for us in a problem position we've had all season. Hence the reason. I mean, look, obviously Mehmeti was rumoured to sign before he got injured, right? But that was a bit of a blessing in disguise in the end, wasn't it? I mean, maybe that did fast track it slightly. The rumour was there on the Tuesday. Nunes gets injured. By the end of the week, Mehmeti's in the building, isn't he? But that's a real big blow for us in terms of playing in the 10, giving you an option back in the midfield. I mean, we saw how we didn't play.
You're going to need more than Mehmeti, though, Matt. You're going to need more than Mehmeti to make up the loss of Nunes and Philogene for however long Philogene. I know it's not a.
Philogene might be back soon. Sounds like he might be back soon.
How soon can we get him back?
But Alex even though I agreed with what Matthew said about George Hurst yesterday, he said, "Oh well, you know, he didn't think Clark had a great game. I don't think. I think I'm right in saying Matthew said that. He said we were missing someone like, you know, someone who can unlock the defence like Philogene. Well, Philogene don't score you any goals away from home, does he? He was brilliant at Portman Road. Philogene weren't the answer yesterday, was he? I would imagine he would have been more isolated than he has been in other away games, to be honest with you. It's only at home that Philogene really kind of steps up and looks tremendous. I mean, fantastic player at Portman Road, but a very different beast away from home.
No, I completely agree. We've got a couple of questions flying in. We've got Colin, Governor Matt, a question for you both. Do you both want a striker? And also, who would you start versus Preston? I'll keep my powder dry for the Preston question because obviously we're doing match preview during the week. But do you want a striker, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely I do. Absolutely I do. But I mean, who that's going to be, I don't know. I mean, Wrexham are being linked with strikers today, aren't they? And looking to spend upwards of 15 to 20 million. I mean, that's how much they want to get into the Premier League. They've gone into sixth now, haven't they, with their win. That's exactly what Ipswich don't do, actually, just going to that point. They're 2-1 down at Loftus Road. They scored 2 goals in 90-plus minute injury time. Rathbone with a bit of a screamer to win it 3-2. Ipswich just don't turn it around like that away from home, do they?
Not at the moment. We have been known to. Not at the moment. No.
But going back to Renegade Statman stats, you're 2-1 down at Loftus Road.
Well, no, not when we're losing, no.
Just wouldn't turn that around, would they, from the losing positions? They're just not doing it. And Wrexham on a bit of a wave there a little bit. So, look, they're looking to open the cash, the checkbook up and bring someone in to try and seal, well, they might still be eyeing second. Who knows? They're not that far behind, are they? I think they're on 44 points, maybe. We're only on 50. So
it's a fairy tale, isn't it? It's a fairy tale, Wrexham.
Hollywood fairy tale. But I mean, look, we can't moan about that either. We've been backed by wealthy American owners, and
I'm not moaning about it. They always speak about Wrexham like it's a huge fairy tale, but they're about to drop what, 15 million quid on a player?
Yeah, exactly.
It's hardly rags to.
It's not an underdog story. No, exactly that. I mean, look, that Joel Perot's still floating around, I believe, got links with Celtic, I think, in the week. I still think he would be really good for us. Borough got linked with him. If Borough are getting links with him, then we've got to go in for him as well. We can't allow someone of that quality to be going to get to a team that we're competing for top 2 with. So we automatically have to go in there. Really good around the box.
Do we did that with Akpom? Can we just identify our own targets and then decide how we're going to proceed instead of jumping in when we feel like somebody else is going to get a quality player? Because
he scored. Yeah, but Perot did score a shed load of goals last season.
I don't think he'll fit the McKenna way though.
Well, I certainly don't think he'd give you the kind of workhorse that you want. That, you know, even though we can be critical of them, that Hurst and Evan probably give you. Yeah, I don't think he probably ticks that box. He's just a very good finisher inside the box. Doesn't need too many chances to score. But yeah, I mean, it didn't take a brain surgeon really to work out when Kiefer Moore come in. That was probably one we were going to go for. Wasn't really getting game time at Bournemouth. International player, been at Portman Road before. Probably wanted a second bite of the cherry at Portman Road because, you know, it never really worked out for him. Worked out everywhere else other than Ipswich. Come back and kind of got that, for want of a better word, closure, I suppose, on that. I mean, he would actually be ideal, wouldn't he? But he ain't going nowhere. As I said the other night, I say this a lot. We'll just have to wait and see. We've just got to hope that Ashton and McKenna have got. They would have identified people, as we said earlier. Whether or not they're going to get them through the door is another matter entirely. I mean, we always say these players should join Ipswich. Some might not want to come to Ipswich. Might not have heard of Ipswich.
Yeah.
Don't want to live in East Anglia. Want to be closer to home. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Bamford probably didn't want to come to East Anglia, because he's spent the last decade of his career in and around Yorkshire. So Sheffield United is perfect for him.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I don't know. Well, there we go. We've chewed the fat. We've put it all to rest. The weekly therapy session without the therapist is in the books, and hopefully you all now feel better. I certainly do. If you're a member, there'll be a tactics video coming out very shortly. If you're not a member and you want to become one, we'd love you to do so. We are fan powered here at Talking Town. Hit the join button on YouTube or head to our Ko-Fi, QR code on the screen, link in the description, and you get member first shows, member only shows, discount to merch, 20% off for members, Discord, which you keep hearing Matt talk about. Like, I occasionally swoop in, like Mark Ashton swooping in for a Bristol City player. I might occasionally swoop into the Discord and just put my 2 cents in and then disappear off into the distance.
Let's hope we've got another transfer signing show like we did Mehmeti on Friday in the early part of this week coming.
It just feels, you know, as a closing argument, if you like, final thought, Jerry Springer, final thought. It just feels like this game was a huge roadblock to the momentum train we were building. You know, you got those home wins under your belt. You're building up momentum. You're building up all of those wonderful things about a football club that when it starts to get turned around or winning, fans start to believing in the players. I even saw some messages during the week about how much I'm loving this team now. You've got the form, you've got the quality. And then yesterday just sort of felt like out of nowhere, really, as well. Because I think people went into it eyes wide open, thinking it was going to be a tough game. It was going to be a game that's going to be so incredibly difficult. It always is at Bramall Lane, regardless of how poor or how good they are. But it still feels like it just stopped us dead in our tracks. And suddenly now momentum's sort of gone. And we're kind of back to, not square one, but we're kind of back to where we were previously.
On the Snakes and Ladders board, we've just gone down a really big snake, haven't we? And gone back down to where we kind of started from December the 13th against Leicester, which was a very, very similar kind of misfiring performance. But we did recover from that and gone on this great run, and hopefully we can. But the fixture list was also kind to us. We're Jekyll and Hyde side. Portman Road, the game turns into a training game, doesn't it? After an hour when we're 2-3 up or whatever. But we did say throughout that run, very different side away from home. For whatever reason, I don't know. There's nothing us as fans can do about it. It's down to McKenna, Pert, Mark Ashton, Rennie Gilmartin. It's up to those individuals.
We all got hit in the chin yesterday, and as a boxer, our legs have wobbled.
Yeah, we hit the canvas yesterday, and we should say fair play to Sheffield United because we absolutely steamrolled them at the start of the season. And
different side now, aren't they? They're very much a different team.
Yeah, we can learn something from that. Why can't we get a bit more physical like that on the road, getting in people's faces? We started the season off like that against Birmingham, didn't we? We faced that against Birmingham, and we got lucky there. But here we are many months later, and we've been undone again by the same kind of tactics.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're back midweek, Wednesday, 8 p.m. for our match preview. We look ahead to Preston. We're back at home. We're back at home, friends. We're back at home. Don't worry. We ain't going away yet. All right, the running away from home is coming. The gauntlet, where can we turn you away from, is, but we're back at Portman Road, back on home soil, and hopefully 3 points await us. But for now, for this evening, I hope you've got something out of the show. If you have, please like and subscribe. But until Wednesday, Mr. Phillips, thank you ever so much, sir. You, the wonderful audience, thank you very much. Whether live or with us on catch up, really, we value every single one of you. But until next time, you take care. Have an enjoyable Sunday evening. God bless you all. You've reached the end. Thank you so much for watching. Hit here to subscribe. It's totally free. And hit here for more Talking Town videos. I'll see you on the next one.